How are you doing? In this video, we're going to be explaining the driving test marking sheet. This is the marking sheet the tester uses to assess how safe of a driver you are. As we can see here, the sections are numbered from 1, rules and checks, all the way down to 18, parking. We can also see the 3 different color columns. Grade 1 is green, grade 2 is blue, and grade 3 is red. Grade 1 is what the tester feels was a very minor mistake, and these marks have no impact on your result. Grade 2, on the other hand, are more serious faults. These are the faults that usually add up and can cause people to fail their test. The way it works is, if we get 4 faults for the same thing, for example, 4 grade 2s for position on the straight, that would result in a fail. Or if we got 6 under the same heading, as in 6 under olive position, that would be a fail. Or for 9 overall the whole sheet, that would be a fail. Or if we got 1 grade 3, that would be considered something dangerous or a total disregard for the traffic controls, that would also be a fail. So we see here section 1, that little small box in the top left is rules and checks. The rules part of that is your road signs and your questions. It's good to get the majority of them right. If you get 3 or more of them wrong, that could result in a grade 2 before you even start driving. The checks part of that comes down to your cockpit drill, just making sure your seat and steering wheel and mirrors are in the correct position before the tester gets into the car beside you. So the next section here is position. So this will be the biggest section I'll be explaining. There's a lot to go into this one, so we're going to get straight in. So the first one there, we see position on the street. You should normally drive close to the left-hand side of the road. If the tester feels that you are in the middle of the road, that would result in a grade 2 for position on the street. Also, if we weave in and out of parked cars, that could also be a grade 2. Also, we're in traffic lanes. If we're driving in the wrong lane, for instance, if we're driving in the far right lane on a road with multiple lanes, that would also result in a grade 2. We see here position on the bends. That just means can you keep your position in on the left as the road bends left or right. Position in traffic lanes. Your position in traffic lanes needs to be in the middle of your lane. If you straddle the lines, that could result in a grade 2. We have position at cross junctions. So position at cross junctions, if you're going straight through, usually you should be close to the left-hand side, unless there are road markings to suggest otherwise. Position on the roundabouts. So if we think about a roundabout as a clock, and we always approach from 6. If you want to take an exit from 6 to 12, usually we should be in the left-hand side. There are exceptions to this rule, and the road markings will tell you what lane you should be in. If you are taking an exit from 12 to 6 or to the right, your position on approach should be out onto the right. And when we exit the roundabout, we should always try exit in on the left. Now, position turning right. When we're turning right, we should normally be just to the left of the center line. And we want to steer when the front of our car is in line with the center line of the road we want to drive down. We want to avoid steering too early. That's when we cut the corner. And we also want to avoid steering too late past the center line, because that would be known as swan necking. Also, if we turn from the left-hand side of the road, or if we steer from the wrong lane, all that will be grade 2s. Now, position turn left. Usually we should approach a left turn reasonably close to the left-hand side and holding our position straight. Try not to come in at an angle or take them wide. We have to keep them into the left all the way around and try straighten up in on the left. Stopping. We should normally stop in a safe position which does not inconvenience other road users. Examples of incorrect stopping position faults could be stopping on and blocking a junction, stopping too far out from the curb, stopping too close to the vehicle in front, or hitting or mounting the curb while pulling in to stop. And last one on position following. Always keep a safe distance from the car in front. Remember the 2-second rule in dry weather and the 4-second rule in wet weather. So the next section here, observation. We see the force heading is moving off. So this one is very important. So you can see my other video on moving off from a park position to explain this. Next one, overtaking. Observation overtaking will be first of all looking up the road to see if it's safe to overtake. Then if it is safe, then you would use your mirrors and start moving out and maybe checking your blind spot if changing lane. Next one here, observation changing lanes. So yet again, if you're going to change lane, do your mirror signal, and just before you steer, it's a quick look beside you. Try avoid taking a big, huge, long look behind you. That's not your blind spot. Your observation overtaking is just a quick look beside you and then move in if it's safe. Next one is observation at cross junctions. When you're driving through a cross junction, quick look right and left. Now, observation at a roundabout. So when approaching a roundabout, air observation is always ahead and to the right. Traffic coming from the right has right of way, so you need to demonstrate you know how to look for them by turning your head and looking out to the right. Turning right. So always look down the road you want to turn onto before you steer. And then when you're turning right, look in the direction you're driving. That is very important. And the same when we're turning left. Again, we're always looking in the direction we're driving. So if you're turning left, always looking up to the left.